We love the lurkers. We love the lurkers.
Okay, here's the Johnson control. Penn Johnson, the A421ABD-02C. Single stage temp control, 120, 240 volt NEMA. This is just in a NEMA 1 case. You can get it in a NEMA 4 with defrost. It's got a 6'6" temperature sensor. We're gonna get into it. The box on it's huge. The pack, you know, you guys are hurting for space in your trucks. This little tiny thermostat's in a huge box. I'll pull it out and show it to you. Get it out of the box. That's what you get. You get your sensor. And this is your thermostat and your instructions, all smothered in bubble wrap. But yeah, look how tiny it is. And then look how big the box is. It has DIN rail mount on the back. So you can put it on DIN rails. And thermostat with defrost built in. So let's check them out. Get the LED light when it calls for cool. We're going to wire it up and go through it. And I'll get it opened up here in just a sec. And this is all our instructions. Okay, these are the instructions. A421 series electronic thermostat controls with off-cycle defrost. And there it is, opened up. We're going to hook our sensor up on these two plus and minus. And then this is a binary contact. There is a jumper pin here that we'll get into. And then these are your line common comes in here, normally open, normally closed. Your line neutral, and then you can go 120 or 240 volts. And it shows it really clear in here. You're going to take your 110 up to your line common. You're going to make a jumper over to your 120, and then that's your neutral. And if you're 240 volts, you're going to L1 goes here. L2 will come up to your line common with the jumper going over here. And then this is where your sensor hooks up. And you can have an optional binary input. Okay, and there it is wired. The sensor's wired in, and we got our neutral, we got our jumper, and we got our hot going to the load common. So let's get it plugged in and we'll see what happens here. We're gonna we'll take this piece and screw it back on, then we can run through the cycles. Before we get into the advanced, let's go over what some of the nomenclature is here. UN is temperature units. You can have Fahrenheit or Celsius. The default's set for Fahrenheit. Off, relay off temperature. It came factory set at 25. We changed that to 37. We're setting it up like if it was on a walk-in refrigerator. On, relay on temperature. They had the factory default at 30. I set mine at 40. Anti-short cycle delay. I set it for 2 minutes for our compressor delay. TSB is your temperature setback in advanced program only, which is 0 degrees. Sensor offset adjustment. You can go from -5 to 5. It's set at 0. High temperature stop. This is in advanced controls only. It's set at 212 degrees. Low temperature stop. Set at -40. So we could actually set that up so we wouldn't ice our coil up. Hopefully. SF is our sensor failure action, where you can set it up. You got BLL, which is your LCD backlight level adjustment, so you can adjust the brightness. Oh yeah, right here. We got our defrost cycle time, which is DFT, 30 minutes. Defrost interval, 8 hours. So every 8 hours, factory set to defrost for 30 minutes. Then we got our start, stop, delay, off cycle. And we got our binary input mode. Temperature setback mode, start defrost cycle mode. Factory set at number 1 there. So let's get into the advanced programming. Okay, before I take you through the programming, I'm going to set it up like if it was a walk-in refrigerator. I'll show you how I would set it up. But you could use it for a freezer or a ton of other things as well. Just a couple things. For your sensor cable, if you want to extend the cable of your sensor right here, if you use 16 AUG wire, they're going to let you go up to 500 feet or 150 meters. 18 AUG wire, you can go 300 feet. 20 AUG wire, you can go 200 feet. And 22, you can go up only 125 feet. So that's a little heads up. And then also in the back of the book here, this is really good, is they'll give you the ohms reading so you can test your sensor right here at a specific ambient. There's Fahrenheit or Celsius. So at 8, so somewheres, like 80 degrees, you'd be at 1100 ohms right there. So that's really nice too, to keep the book on your truck. Okay, quick rundown. You get it powered up, you get it going. You get into the basic menu first. Hit the menu button. It's going to say off. And that's asking you what temperature do you want the unit to turn off at. I set it for 37 degrees, like if it was a walk-in cooler. The next prompt is what temperature you want it to come back on at. So I set it for 40 degrees. That'd be like a 3-degree differential. The next prompt is SF, which is your sensor failure action. The ASD is an anti-short cycle delay, so it's your compressor delay. It's in minutes. I set it for 2 minutes. You can come over here and change it. So that'll give you some compressor protection. And then you're right back to the beginning of the basic program. Next, I'll show you how to get into the advanced program and set that up real quick. Okay, to get to the advanced program, you're going to press up and down at the same time for 5 seconds. You really got to push in on them. There it goes. And then you'll get to the UN. UN is your temperature measurement between Celsius and Fahrenheit. So we got it factory set at Fahrenheit, which is good for us. So we'll move on to the next one. The LTS is our low temperature stop. So you can set it for a temperature if it reaches low enough where to stop at. And I set it for 35 degrees. So if it was a walk-in refrigerator, I'm not going to be icing up coils. Like if our solenoid stuck. High temperature stop, I put it at 70 degrees. Probably not going to affect a walk-in cooler too much. We're right back. So in the advanced program, that's our anti-short cycle delay. I set it for 2 minutes. That's our off temperature, 37. Our on temperature, 40. Okay, defrost cycle time. Now the factory default was 30. I was playing with it. I set it for like a 90-minute defrost. And that's DI is my defrost cycle every 24 hours. So I had it set up like an old mechanical clock would do it back in the old days. You could set it however you feel like you would need to set your defrost. The next prompt is our binary input mode. Factory defaults 1. It makes contact at the start of the defrost cycle. And this is our brightness control for the backlight. So I got it all the way up at 10, and you can turn it all the way down, or you can turn it off. I like it bright because I'm old and I can't see. And then the TSB is your temperature setback. It's factory default at 0. And the SO is your sensor offset adjustment. I have it set at 0. That's factory default. And the sensor failure. And then we're back at SDF. So the SDF is if you want to put it in manual defrost, you would turn this to 1 and it would go into manual defrost. If you come up to the unit and it's in defrost, you want to take it out of defrost, you set it to 0. And we're right back to the beginning. And that's it. Pretty simple, really. There's a lot of literature in it. It's a really cool thermostat with built-in defrost. They're very inexpensive. There's really not a whole lot to it. It does have some cool features and a lot of literature here. So if you think that's something you can use, that's it right there. And pretty cool little stat. That's why we don't need air conditioning here. I'm in my garage right here, so that's the ambient. There's the back of the Vangina. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.